Shalom, my name is Yehoshua. This video is being made from Jerusalem, and it's to comment upon the current events. Let's see, today, what do we have? We have oil breaking 140, taking a breather on its way to 150, and Goldman Sachs is saying it could be 200. Hey, wonderful, folks. Forgive my very selfish statement. I own the intellectual property that is the new economic paradigm that the Israelis have been murdering me for 22 years trying to steal. But thank God it's still a strategic asset, and they haven't succeeded. But last, let's see, night before last, it was vested with the religious community, beginning with the Belzer, the Ardmore Rebbe, the Belzer Rebbe, the Ardmore, received his blessing. And I received a number of other big rabbis' blessings, and it's now vested and it's owned by the religious, the Heradi communities of Jerusalem, and in fact of Eretz Israel, to build and to realize the value of, it's estimated to be 50 billion, and all Klal Yisrael eventually. But there has been a specious, vicious bias by the princes, the secularists, the political gulag has discriminated intensely against the religious in Israel, and only when they fight and elbow at the table and battle, but in the generality and the overall operation of the bureaucracy in respect of benefits, rights, insurance, etc., everything else, the religious are profoundly discriminated. There's only one that's having more trouble, and that's this American. And so they have an abhorrence of people with individualist tendencies and democratic leanings, but they're great at spin. Okay, so let's put the things in perspective. Okay, the American economy is in meltdown, and so is the G9. Why? Well, they don't have a least cost method. America and Japan, let's just use as an example, the two biggest economies of the G9. They no longer have a macro least cost method of mass producing and distributing what they produce and distribute. Okay, so both are predominantly now producing not organized for, but are producing more knowledge, information, goods, services, technology for export. But they're using the division of labor model, and it's non-competitive. Okay, with the collapse of the local reality beginning 18 years ago, we have an East-West convergence model, which is the framework for the post-collapse era of both East and West systems. Communism fell down 18 years ago, and the next year Yugoslavia fell down, and Zionism, which was communism, collapsed after Rabin's murder, despite all the denials since. Having said all these things, the central organizing principle of Humanomics, which is the new East-West convergence model, by the way, speaking of the other collapse, there was 9/11, and the meta-narrative of that, and the Ba'athist regime fell on March 17th with the invasion of Iraq, 2003, and Harari's murder brought the collapse, and there's 5 or 6 other countries in Africa. It's moving around the world. Okay, so this is the reality today. The price of oil is going through the roof. The economy is going into the tank. There is a very great need for a solution, and so I happen to have that solution. It's Humanomics in general. And if you don't like Humanomics as an East-West convergence model and you want to continue the denial for another decade or two, knock yourself out, folks. I'm not going to fight with you. But I happen to have something more near-term, and that is the new economic paradigm, the integration of labor. Barack Obama has, his people have, it's too revolutionary, and they're proving themselves to be, typical political front leaders. They're not willing to be bold and daring, and an advocate, nor is the DNC, but John McCain's people have said, yeah, we like it. So anyway, a new national development policy for America for the next president, whomever he will be, and we expect it will be Barack Obama, whom I endorse, and I don't think he's arrogant. Karl Rove is talking about himself. He needs a mirror. But I'm not impressed with the control. There are a lot of people surrounding Barack Obama that I'm a little suspicious. They're very, you know, it's a bit smelly. I mean, the new economic paradigm is a solution. Okay, so with the new national platform development policy, the Congress will mandate the development, implementation, and cultivation of the new economic paradigm, the integration of labor. I'm its author. Identifies information in classical terms as new agent of transformation as world-class global technology. It will do the following. With a supply side investment of about $5 trillion, 60% of which will come from the G9 as strategic partners, 40% from America, so that's only $2 trillion. It will retool, retrain, or educate the entire American workforce over 20 years, achieving by years 10 and 11 full employment. Beginning at the end of the first year, it will be creating tens of thousands of jobs, sustainable domestic content jobs a month at twice the average indexed wage by the end of years 2 to 3. Okay, in that time frame, and triple in years 7 and 8. Okay, so when it's a triple, it'll take the American economy from 14 trillion to 45 to 50 trillion. It will do something even more spectacular in respect of the G9, okay? But let's not go into those macro speculations in respect of the G9, because those are things that have to be worked out between intergovernmental committees, and they have to run their own macros and make their own assumptions and so on and so forth. Having said all of this, let us come to specifics. The economy is in meltdown, and so it is time for Yehoshua Yaakov to sell the rights to the intellectual property which I own, which is the new economic paradigm, but it's no longer mine. A couple of nights ago, I gave my word and vested it with the Ardmore de Belzer Rebbe for the Heradi communities, not just his, but all the Heradi communities of Jerusalem and of Eretz Israel. And we will organize this in the days and weeks and months ahead as to the way it's to proceed, but we're going to brand Humanomics in general and integration of labor in particular, and we will be proceeding with its framework and development in the most natural ways. Having said all of this, I can only say it is for us a very great blessing, because the price of oil at $150 to $200 a barrel makes abundantly clear that the world-class global technological infrastructure based on the new economic paradigm is an absolute must, because you don't move information, knowledge, innovation, service, and training and development to people to that array. You move information, knowledge, and service, and technology to people, so that you're not running the analog of 24/7, 365. Nearly 750 million people on the planet are moving, and you have the the carbofluorine CFCs and the CO2 problem, which is we have a hole in the ozone layer. It has to be replenished by 2050. And we're going to do is we have to cut this in half, and to do this we have to have world-class global technology. Reorganize, retrain, retool, re-educate the whole workforce, not just in America with the G9. This requires an economic paradigm. Haven't heard a single word from the candidates. There's a few hundred videos up, so I'm not too impressed with the staffs. They're being particularly cautious. Anyway, I'm Yehoshua Yaakov ben Avraham. I'm the author of Humanomics trilogy, 2,500 pages, and a few hundred graphics. We'll be published on the web in the next 18 months. Thank you for listening.